Sabancı Holdings has reported a 4.8 billion lira net profit for 2020, up almost 1 billion euros on last year. The Turkish conglomerate saw consolidated net income jump 34% for the year, driven by its non-banking division. This as Sabancı's joint venture partner, Aviva, announces its exit from Turkey. Well, we're pleased to have with us Cenk Alper, the CEO of Sabancı Holdings. Welcome to our programme. Could I just start by asking you to update us on how you see current trading and how Turkey is coming through its COVID experience?
Good morning. Yes, the world has got the shock in the second half of the year, as you all know. Turkey is bouncing back much quicker than the rest of the world. And if I see the consumer sentiment will sustain probably in the first quarter of the year. But because of the high inflation rates, we expect some cool down of the economy. Coming back to European markets, although the growth rates are not public in all countries, we see some also rebounding in the European countries. Coming back to COVID cases, we at Sabancı Holding is closely managing it since last February. We had two major concerns: one, health of our employees, and then the sustainability of the jobs. We have started the crisis with the motto of we will not leave anyone behind. And today we have started the pandemic with 60,000 employees, and hopefully we will be coming out of the pandemic like that. That delivers very strong results for Sabancı Holding.
The lira obviously based back in November of last year, but as we've come into this year, there seems to have been a brightening in terms of the view of how the Turkish economy is going to fare. I think some changes in the team around the central bank and the government, and also the prospects of some progress on the reopening of the economy, as you've mentioned there. But what difference will that strengthening of the lira make to your exporting operations?
Two things. We agree with you that the new central bank governor and the new economy ministers are in close contact with the economic partners, and they are taking the right measures to strengthen Turkish economy. At the beginning of the pandemic, actually, in Turkey, the manufacturing industry has not stopped, and we continued in operation in Turkey, also at Sabancı Holding, especially in manufacturing. And our exports to main markets, especially to Europe, has increased during this time. And we expect that because of this supply chain continuity, supply chain security, this will stick to Turkey.
Good morning to you, sir. Should I worry about the debt levels that Turkey has taken on board during this crisis? I've been looking across the board from households to corporates to government as well, and there are big increases across the board. If we do see tighter financing going forward, could this be one of the old problems for emerging markets returning, sir?
I think that can be an overall problem for all the emerging markets, but if you look since the beginning of the crisis, all Turkish enterprises are trying to correct their balance sheets. And once we come to Sabancı Holding, we had a debt improvement program since last 5 years, and we ended up with a record high performance over there. At Sabancı Holding, our debt to EBITDA ratios are below 2%, very healthy level, and most of the Turkish conglomerates are having similar structures.
Do you think the government's doing enough to attract enough FDI into the economy? There have been periods over, I can think, the last 2 decades, sir, when we've spoken to you and your peers about oscillations in the finance sector and elsewhere about investment into the country. Is the government on the right track at the moment?
Yes, I think with the new economy management, we are on the right track. As you know, Turkey has a very strong human capital, very strong position geographically, and technology infrastructure is also very good. Banking system is one of the most developed banking systems in the world. In that respect, we do expect to receive further foreign capital direct investments to Turkey. And I think you mentioned about Aviva at the beginning, so the investments of Ageas to Turkey is, very significant picture of their trust.
Can I Ask you about the conglomerate structure of the business, because going into the pandemic, this structure had lost a lot of appeal for investors. Typically, we're seeing a whole bunch of deals where you were seeing the sale of certain assets to capture the full valuation. And, you have a fingerprint that's across banking, insurance, energy, industrial, cement and retail. How has it stood you in this crisis, having such a wide dispersion of assets?
Yes, as you are right, with multi-businesses, we are active in 14 different countries and serving more than 40 million customers. If we look to 2020, our energy business, our retail business, biggest portion of our industrial businesses and insurance business was quite healthy. We have a balanced and resilient portfolio. Overall, Turkish banking system had problems, so we could not really have very good results on the banking side, but if you look at the overall portfolio balance, I think we end up with very good results.
Company-wide level, you've been very aggressive in the technology innovation. I'm curious as to what's changed during this crisis for you, because we've seen so many trends accelerate across from technology, retail to industrial uses. What have you done differently in this crisis that's made a difference?
Actually, preparation before the crisis was the main reason of the high performance. So we have invested over 5 billion Turkish lira to digitalization in the last 3-4 years. And with the pandemic, we could easily switch to, distance working at all our businesses. So we have distant operations in banking, in insurance, and even we can manage all our energy assets from one central location in Istanbul. So this was very important, and pandemic has proven that sustainability and digitalization will much quicker after even pandemic, and that will stick to our businesses. We have started very well, and we will continue to invest into digital so that we have full omni-channel experiences to all customers all around the world.
Lovely speaking to you today, sir. Thank you very much indeed for finding the time. Good to hear from you. Cenk Alper, who is the CEO of Sabancı Holding.